How you doing, guys? Punk here, and welcome to a Noob Reviews. Today, I'm sitting down. Tomorrow, I might not be. Today, we're going to be reviewing Inside. It's an atmospheric adventure indie game made by Playdead Studios, the creators of Limbo. The release date was July 7th, 2016 for platforms PC, which I reviewed, Xbox One. The length overall, to get it out of the way, is 3 to 4 hours depending on how well you can solve environmental and puzzles in general. And the price for the game is $20. So first off, we're going to talk about the art style and the art design, or the design of the game, I should say. First off, Limbo, which was made by the same developers, was monochrome, meaning black and white, and there were bits and pieces of color here and there throughout the game, but it was mostly black and white. Inside is not that. It's very earthy and rustic in theme to keep with the game and its downtrodden feel. Overall, the colors you will encounter are reds, mostly grays, but there are blues, greens, and a myriad other colors, but again, they are all very earthy and faded. This goes well with the theme of the game itself. Now, the style of the game itself is more of a faux 2D, 3D kind of mashup. Limbo, it was straight 2D, meaning if you encountered a box, you had to jump over said box to get around it. There was no passing in front of it. Within Inside, you can pass in front of these objects relatively easy. There are no jumping over them to try to get over them or pass over them. You just simply walk in front of them. This gives the game itself a good sense of depth. Now, this will lead to some confusion between players and the game world as to whether they can interact with some objects or other objects. But this is a minor nitpick. It just comes with the style of a 2D, 3D platformer. Will allow you to pass in front of objects instead of being stuck behind them. Second, we're going to talk about the animation style, and it's going to be fairly quick because this is something I noticed throughout the game. The animation style is smooth as butter. From falling to rolling to the character even stumbling, everything just flows relatively great. There's no hiccups in it. There's no feeling of, oh, well, the frames on this certain animation were off or they're jarring. Onto the level design. So, when we start up Inside, we are given the game's title. Upon that, we are entering a forest as a young boy. The forest is dark and gloomy, and eventually we get to a farm area. Now, between the forest and the farm, everything feels lived in. There's a sense of foreboding, and everything is just dire. There are no points in this game and in many of the levels that you will feel safe as the boy. Initially, when I wandered around the first few levels or areas, I thought of concentration camp or wartime events. Later, I found out that is not true, but it is rather strange within the mystery of Inside itself. Like, what is going on? What is driving this boy? But more on that a little bit later. So after the forest and the farm-like areas, we are greeted with a dilapidated city, a lot of downtrodden buildings, abandoned buildings, and it still leaves you with the wonder of, why is everything empty? Why are there no people? Well, you soon find out the answer to that. particularly puzzling question, but more on that in the story section of the game. As you progress through the levels, there are a variety of challenges that you will have to go through, each designed with care to fit that particular area in general. There are multiple different areas, such as the forest that you've seen, the dilapidated city, the farmland, some underwater levels, which I personally hate, and then you get into a big underground or underwater area, a big scientific area. It's a lot of labs, a lot of experiments that you may think are going on. Overall, the level design is great. There's not too much platforming, but it is there. There are puzzles, and that's going to be part of the gameplay. Now, onto the gameplay. Like its predecessor Limbo, inside its main mechanic is environmental and puzzles. How to get across certain gaps or around certain enemies that you don't want to get caught by. You get caught by them, you die in horrific ways. Examples. Okay, that was just a few of the gruesome deaths that you could come across as the boy. There were a few more, such as falling, which, I mean, honestly, the falling looks pretty great animation-wise. You just kind of crumple. Hiding, again, does play a part a little bit in this game because you do not want to get caught. There's a lot of running. But, again, the biggest part is the puzzles and trying to figure out how to solve said puzzles, whether they be environmental or, you know, not getting caught by a certain creature over and over and over as you progress through that level. There are a variety of these puzzles, and some of them may make you feel dumb because some of them are simple, common sense puzzles, meaning you overthink them. That's not so bad, as the puzzles themselves are rewarding and you'll feel a great sense of accomplishment if you like certain puzzles. Now, if you don't like puzzle games or games like this, you're not going to have a fun time. If you did not like Limbo, I don't think you will like Inside. Now, there is one cool mechanic that they brought within Inside, and that is the mind control helmet, which falls in line with the story, giving you a sense of why are these people being mind controlled. Throughout levels, you will see these mind control helmets, and you will be able to manipulate seemingly brain-dead zombie-like humans into doing whatever you want. Now, when you're strapped into this mind control helmet, you can make the NPCs do basically anything the boy can do, such as grabbing objects, moving them, or moving the boy himself as part of the puzzle. Eventually, you'll be able to do the mind control without the use of the helmet, but that's a story spoiler, and I'm not going to show or tell you how it's done, because I strongly suggest you play this game for yourself if you're interested in it, and just skip straight to the end where I grade it, unless you want to hear about this stuff, of course. But overall, there's a lot of mechanics within Inside and puzzles to be solved, which keep the game going. Again, it's 3 to 4 hours depending on how quickly you can solve the puzzles. Now, onto the story. I don't know why I'm doing this lip thing, but I am. After the opening and the title screen, we are given the view of a red-shirted, black-haired boy, seemingly running through a forest with no objective but to run. Eventually, we see a truck getting loaded with humans, and we don't know why. There are men patrolling said truck, and they have face masks, though you'll notice that the boy himself has no face. Now, why this is a design choice, I don't know, but it will have something to do with the ending. Now, as we run through the game, there are many hints as to what may be going on. The first area you start off to is there's a farm and there's loads of dead pigs and just death and decay. which gives that wartime concentration camp sort of feeling, like he's trying to escape being taken prisoner. But some of the deaths within the first few areas make you wonder if that's the case, because the boy is literally shot and killed instead of captured, which he can be captured as well. As we progress through the dilapidated city, the story becomes a little bit more sinister, as it shows zombie-like humans marching in lines for some unknown reason. They don't even take notice of you as you make loud noises and bang around. They're seemingly brain dead or being controlled. Now, as you progress through the game, you become more acquainted with the mechanics of it and the story a little bit. You eventually enter an area that's filled with computers, etc., making you think of experimentation on humans or just the general populace. Just like with Limbo though, you'll never get the full answers, and it's up to you and your own brain to figure out what exactly is going on throughout this game. The story has no dialogue whatsoever to hint at the game itself. There's nothing but environmental storytelling, silent environmental storytelling, and the clues that you can pick up on. The ending will leave you just as bewildered or confused as Limbo, so be prepared for that. If you didn't understand what was going on with Limbo, then you may not understand what's going on or why the things that happened within the ending had happened within inside. Sorry for that sentence, I confused myself. But I'm going to leave the ending and events leading up to the ending up to you guys that may want to play. There's a lot of theories and there's a lot of hints within the game as to what may be going on. So I'll leave it to everyone that wants to play this game to figure it out for themselves. Now, I think I've talked about everything that I want to talk about with Inside. It's a short, sweet game. Okay, I think I have talked about everything that I wanted to talk about within Inside. So let's get on to the score. I'm giving Inside an excellent because I really enjoyed my time with the game, and I also really enjoyed Limbo, and these two are very similar. The game is a great story and focused on the journey to the very end, even though it relies on the player to figure out what the hell's going on themselves, and it is told environmentally through actions of other characters, etc. The game features fun environmental puzzles and challenges along the way, making you use your brain to think. There are some twists and turns throughout the game that will kind of turn what you think is going on its head and make you wonder what is really going on. The sound design, even though I did not make a section of it within this review, is spot on. Through echoing footsteps, through long or open hallways, to the grunts and death throes of the child, or just flopping bodies all over the place as you fall down a massive hole. Everything sounds great. The animation is superb. There's a lot of things done right within this game, even though it is an indie developer. These guys are more high-profile indie devs than your beginning game designers. They know what the hell they're doing. There is some music within the game, and it is used in certain moments. It may be there throughout the game if you notice it, but you may not notice it at all, as it's more background music, but it will kick up at times when the story or the game or events unfold that demand a soundtrack. Overall, the game is an experience that should be enjoyable for many people that like Limbo or games like this, and the ending itself will make you go, what the hell did I just play, and make you want to know why the things that happened had happened. So it's Inside, and it's well worth the price of admission. Now, you can wait for the price to drop a little if it goes on sale. I'm not sure it will yet though. Playdead has made another great high-profile indie game, and it's clear a lot of time after Limbo went into making Inside, which is roughly a 3 to 4 hour game with tons of meanings throughout it, and secrets to find, and a secret ending if you can find it. So have fun, guys. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, or hit the not downvote button. This isn't Reddit. Hit the dislike button if you didn't like the video. Feel free to leave comments letting me know what I can do to improve this series. And as always, thank you guys, and have fun. Goodbye.